No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? Happy Friday. Yes, we made it at the end of the week. It is Friday, and we hope you are enjoying starting off with Jay Tust right there, KTVB Sports Director. My name is BJ Rains with Bronco Nation News. And, Jay, it's Friday. I had kids fighting over the new baseball bat we bought in the garage this morning. All kinds of stuff going on, but we're got them off to school, and we can take a deep breath and start the show here.
Did Nelly take down Naismith?
Yeah, but more or less. Yeah. Nelly didn't want to relinquish the batting tee. Now, I'm not going to be too upset when kids are fighting at 8:30 over who gets to take more swings on the tee.
I'll take that.
So, I won't say how much, but we got a new baseball bat last night. It was a little pricey. And we tried to get a size that Naismith could use, but Nelly could maybe choke up a little bit and use too. And so we're they're both wanting to get some swings in and break it in a little this morning. And I'm not going to, never going to argue if they're choosing baseball over video games before school, but
I'll take that, man.
As Alexander says, no, it's not a torpedo bat. Although I certainly wanted to look into those. They are the newest thing, but no. So we, a little bit late start today. Apologize. Had to break that up and then remembered I hadn't created the show or anything, but we're here and it's Friday. And I know how you know that in the morning getting the kiddos out to daycare and things goes.
Yeah. We're lucky. Colin's actually didn't have school today, so it was actually an easy Friday morning.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, so I still woke up way too early, but the body clock goes off when it goes off. Even though I had the chance to sleep in today, is what it is. Quiet hour or so in the morning, which you'll also take that.
Well, I roll over, I get up, I get my rock star, I check my my daily routine, I see if I've missed anything on Twitter bright and early. And the first tweet I see I'm graced with on a Friday morning is Jay Tust saying that Ashton Jeanty looks like he's going to get number 2 back. I
don't know why it's such a big deal, but I just want to know. I think it's a big deal for him, though. I mean, a lot of Ashton's, branding and marketing is centered around the 2. I mean, even his handle on Instagram is Deuce. And so if he doesn't get that number, you gotta change some stuff probably. And yeah, it looks like the Raiders haven't updated their roster yet, but if you go to NFLshop.com, they now have Ashton Jeanty number 2 jerseys that you can pre-order. And prior to that, they just had Ashton Jeanty 1 jerseys, but that's just because he was a first round pick. They do that for all first round picks. But yeah, it looks like Ashton's going to stay in too.
Daniel Carlson must have stepped up, and this is the second time. I guess he originally went to number 2 to get out of the way for Marcus Mariota, and now I guess is agreeing to move the number again. I wonder what Ashton Jeanty is going to have to. I'm sure it was an easy. I'm sure if you're the punter and the number 6 pick, like wants the number, I'm sure it's like not a big negotiation, or you just do it and then hope that you get rewarded down the road. But I saw, was it not Shohei Ohtani, but it was somebody recently had a big contract. It might have been Shohei Ohtani, or I think that somebody, when he switched numbers or something happened, and I forget who it was, gifted a new car to whoever it was that switched numbers. And he walked out in spring training into the parking lot, and there was a brand new car for him. Not sure Genty's quite on that, mega contract level to buy somebody a new car, but maybe a Rolex or a nice, golf cart or something. I don't know, but there's probably something in there that Ashton will take care of if he hasn't already.
I mean, Shohei's getting 700 mil or whatever it is, so he definitely has, some room in his pocketbook to shell out, a car for somebody for giving up his number. I got to say this. I really actually wish that I would have been, more like Daniel Carlson, where it's just like, just throw a number on me and I'm good, right? And I think when you're a kid, for the most part, you can justify just a number of numbers because you have a lot of favorite athletes. But for me, man, I felt like I felt like I lost a superpower if I wasn't rocking 5 or 24 on a baseball field, and 21 on a football field. I don't know why, but I felt that. So those are the numbers that I needed to have, and I felt better playing in them. I switched to 28 in college and had a bad first year, and I was like, I'm never wearing this number again. I wish that I just give me a number and I'm good with it. But I would have been more like Ashton, where I was intentional. What are the Reigns boys going to be like? Is everybody going to rock like Stan Musial's number 6 or like what?
We were rocking the number 5 for Albert Pujols there for a while, and then got to a team where the head coach's kid was also number 5, and that made it. We had to change numbers pretty quick. So he actually went to 23 the last 2 summers, I believe. Fernando Tatis Jr. is 23. Yeah. And if you want to go way back on the Cardinals, David Freese was 23, and then obviously MJ or LeBron or whoever else 3 over. So right now he's rocking the 23, but his younger brother Nelly is took over the 5 right now. So we've got 5. By the way, I think Crash does have the perfect thing here. Just a nice steak dinner at Barry's there at Circa. That'll probably get it done.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Couple?
It helps. It would help. That is one heck of a meal there.
He was born on December 2nd. Also, 2 is his number. Did you know that about Ashton Jeanty? All right. Carlson wore 38 in college, so you might just not care.
Right.
Carlson saw the sponsors Jeanty had during the draft. Probably invited the number change. Yeah. Send him some Buffalo Wild Wings. Send him some underwear. What else does he have that he can send him? That's what I assume. Like whenever you see these Christmas gifts that are handed out.
There's I would firmly believe yes, the guys are wealthy and can afford a lot, so clearly, but I'm going to assume there's some, NIL type NFL endorsements or discounts that go on when those gifts are presented, Maybe you get your golf carts at cost or something. Tweet about it. All you got to do.
If he doesn't, he needs to get 22 and change his tag to Deuces. If he doesn't,
you could do that.
And then Bronco 130 says, all right, I'll say it. Raiders about to drop a deuce on opposing team defense. That's awesome of the kicker there. All right, so Ashton Jeanty looks like he's going to get his number 2, and you can start to buy the jerseys there online. Ashton Jeanty, number 2. We did have some transfer news yesterday. James Ferguson-Reynolds, Jay, landing with the Oregon Ducks. Kind of ironic, given the way the game went in Eugene last year. I saw somebody say, "Oh, this has obviously been in the works, since before that." Joking, but played kind of similar to Colton Boomer, comes over and hits a game-winning field goal for Boise State on the blue, then transfers there. And James has played a game in that stadium now, and they saw, him firsthand, and they need a punter. And obviously we know about the NIL budget there at Oregon, and James Ferguson-Reynolds transferring to the Oregon Ducks. Jay, your thoughts on that?
It's one of those things where, like, I'm surprised, but I also convinced myself to never try to be surprised anymore. It really isn't too surprising when you break it down. I do think there is some irony there, as he brought up. That was probably the first word that popped into my mind. I was like, huh. No, there was, I firmly believe that prior to the game, like that's just a joke, as you said, like nothing like that. But after the game, I bet you there was a little part of James that just wanted to stay in Eugene. Mostly because he just didn't want to go back. I'm also half kidding everybody. I good for him. You see the reactions on Twitter and stuff like that, and I'm like, what do you do anymore? I don't know. He was a good kid, good human. Punted 3 years at Boise State, and in one of those years was the best in the country. I get that, it might rub you the wrong way because he's going to Oregon, which they're not necessarily, they don't play enough to be a rival. Like it's impossible to call it a rival. But I don't know.
2026 again though.
Yeah, but barring
eligibility, I believe, so he'll be gone.
I guess, but maybe the 5-5 comes into play.
Yeah.
I don't think James redshirted.
No, and like I said, the ironic part, I guess, is that that was the game that maybe you would think started to, I don't want to say sour things with Stacey Collins, but I mean in terms of just why it didn't work out. That was obviously a game where special teams and in particular one punt, led to a touchdown on that punt return and led to changing that game. And who knows what could have been different. And this isn't like, let's just crap on JFR here, but we've been poking around, obviously, Jay, I've been talking to people, you've been talking to people, and I think the facts are facts that, he has a very strong leg. And if you want him to, kick it 60 yards, he could probably kick it 60 yards. But in terms of technical football, what the scheme and how you set things up, that's not always what you want to do. You want to have the punt go to a certain spot where maybe you only want him to punt at 40 yards because you want the return to set up this, or the block, or whatever you call it, the punt defense to set up this side versus this side. There's certain areas. And also, like, when you're punting, from midfield a lot, you're not going to get those longer punts because, Boise State's, when you lead the nation in punting, you're probably punting from your own 20 a lot, and so you're just letting him kick it as far as you can, or you're in your own end zone. But Boise State's scheme, and again, I don't bring up, trying to air out dirty laundry, whatever. When I hear about stuff, we ask people, Jay, we try to find out facts and gain a better understanding of what happened. And it sounds like to me, Jay, in some capacity that maybe Boise State was asking JFR to do something a little different in terms of not just booming it as far as he could. And maybe at times that wasn't what JFR wanted to do. And a punter wants to lead the nation in punting a second straight year and wants to just boom it as far as he can and have thoughts on the next level and show what he can do. And maybe punting is one of those positions, Jay, where I don't know if, selfless is the right word, but sometimes you got to do what fits into the punt scheme necessarily more than what your skill set is. And so I think that may have at times not sat as well with JFR, that he wasn't able to kind of show his full leg on some of these punts. And when he did, that didn't really sit well with some of the coaches if he wasn't necessarily kicking it where he was supposed to. And so whether that's a, however you want to call it, a fractured relationship or whatever, the styles just maybe didn't mesh great. And as Spencer Danielson told us after the spring game, he had the meeting with JFR and was like, basically was honest with him that some things need to improve and get better. And I guess that either didn't sit well with, reading between the lines, he said they had a conversation. This is on the record in the post-spring game, Jay, that he met with all of his players, met with him, was kind of harsh and said some things need to improve next year. And I think he said 3 hours later or something, he got a call that he wanted to meet in the morning and said he decided to transfer. So we'll have to, maybe we'll never know the full story, but it just seems like maybe at times what JFR was looking for in a scheme and what he wanted to do maybe didn't necessarily fit with Boise State's, and we'll see what it looks like at Oregon.
Yeah.
Is that a fair way to say it?
I think so. I think it's pretty fair. And now he's off to Oregon, and that's why I say it. You see some reactions and fans are like dead to me and stuff like that. I don't know if it matters anymore. Like it is just different. And more than anything, you don't want the next guy that you could potentially sign to see that stuff. I mean, in all honesty, like so what now? I changed my mind and the fan base is gonna come after me. I get why it hurts. I do. I understand you're a fan. You're allowed to have your emotional swings and attachment to the team. I'm not trying to define that for you. I'm just saying that the game is just different these days. And I think that you always have to be cognitive of what you're putting out there because you want to build your program up. You want to lift it up. I mean, I think treat it the way Boise State coaches do. If you want to enter the portal, all right, man, that's your decision. But that means if that's what you want to do, go do it. We're going to continue to do what we do here and build this thing up and not worry about what we can't control. So, and personally, best of luck to JFR, man. Like I said, good kid. Always enjoyed interacting with him. He was a fun soundbite. And yeah, time to move on. And Boise State needs to identify their next guy at that position.
And I saw somebody say, "Oh, I already always loved and rooted for Oregon to punt, so now I like that even more," or something.
I will say that's kind of funny. There was somebody that said, "I hope that Oregon leads the country in punts next season." That was pretty funny.
Alexandra saying they couldn't have JVM, so they go for JFR.
Yeah, there might be some truth to that. I don't know. Couldn't have Ashton Jeanty either. So
didn't like.
Again, I do think that there was more to it than just money, though. I don't think that's the sole motivator here.
You mentioned trying to get another punter. Boise State is making some additions at multiple spots in the transfer portal. Let's hit on those, Jay, here when we come back. But first, want to thank all of our great sponsors, including our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. All your painting needs, make sure you hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, RowPaint.com. ROEPaint.com, our title sponsor. Hit him up for all your painting needs. Taco Bell, you hungry? Perfect time on a Friday to go get some Taco Bell. TacoBellWorks.com is the website for the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, and get more information on their charitable efforts, including the $400,000 they've committed to student athlete scholarships for the men's and women's basketball teams. TacoBellWorks.com. Go visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Snake River Pool and Spa, thespateam.com. If you're looking for a sauna, a spa, pool table for the game room, they got it all. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. You can check them out online at thespateam.com. Hey, the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. All your Boise State basketball gear, football gear. They got that clearance rack there at the front of the store. Check them out online, theblueandorangestore.com, or anywhere in the world. You can do it online, theblueandorangestore.com, or the Boise Town Square Mall, second floor there next to Pro Image. Hey, Jackson's has that 99-cent coffee deal. Anytime, day or night, you can go get a coffee at Jackson's using your Let's Go Rewards app for 99 cents. And don't forget the $5 meal deal as well. $5 gets you 2 hot dogs and a kettle chips from our friends at Jackson's. I mentioned this yesterday, Jay, with Johnny. It's kind of funny. I mean, Spencer Danielson, and I know they're still looking and they're probably going to get one, but for as outspoken as Spencer Danielson was about how badly they needed a wide receiver in the transfer portal, they've added 4, 5, 6 guys at almost every position except wide receiver to this point. The newest one, another offensive lineman from Utah. They lost one Australian. They added another in the Australian offensive lineman from Utah. Intriguing guy, 6'7". They also add the Australian punter from Weber State. He was involved in that pro kick. Australia had a pretty good freshman season at Weber State. He comes over, looks like he could be in the mix for punting as well. And I know they've added some other players. There's a player from Arizona that's down to Boise State in Western Kentucky at linebacker that we mentioned yesterday as well, Jay. So they're out there searching still, and they're adding guys, and they're still trying to add to this team here.
Yeah, the offensive lineman's kind of intriguing, BJ, just because his bio on the University of Utah website said that he hadn't played hadn't played American football prior to arriving in Utah. I'm curious to know more about that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, had a sneeze building there. But I'm curious to know more about that. So is that like really true? Like his first American football was in college at Utah? That'd be wild.
Like he has a professional basketball or something.
Yeah. NBL 1 league in Australia. So he has a basketball background. You can see really a tall guy. I'm guessing, you can also put on some weight because he's almost 300 pounds. So, once you get to that space, maybe you're a little bit too big for basketball, and now you become a perfect, tackle in football. So he's clearly young, learning the position, but Boise State's hit on international athletes in the past. One of them, just was drafted to the Detroit Lions this past weekend in Ahmed Hassani. So, I think he's kind of intriguing, and we'll see what he goes. In terms of the wide receiver position, they haven't landed anybody, but I don't think that also means they haven't swung, BJ. The kid out of Oklahoma, the D2 wide receiver, ended up committing to Oklahoma State at some point in time in the last week or so. And I know that was a guy that, seemed intriguing, and it looked like Boise State was on him. And he decided to go elsewhere. That might have actually been almost 2 weeks ago now, because, we were, or you were maybe hinting at that human being without actually, doing so during the post-spring scrimmage press conference.
Yeah, and that was an interesting one. And yeah, they need a wide receiver. We'll see what they decide to do. And Skyship says go take Gatlin bareback since they stole JFR.
Well, lots changed since then. You never know. I mean, that would be interesting.
That would be a pretty intriguing place right now. If you're him, if you liked it before, I don't know why you wouldn't like it now.
Yeah, I know that he would, has to get back up to speed and stuff like that. But yeah, he would be a guy that you figured could make a pretty darn quick impact if he chose to do that. That it's nothing against the wide receiver room. I just think when you look at that group, like, yeah, you think that another body that has some experience could make it more competitive. But I mean, whether you like it or not, one thing you have to consider too is just some of the guys in that room, whether it be Austin Boulder, Latrell Caples, like the veterans that you're going to really rely on, they don't have the best health history. And so you have to be prepared. And right now, if they went and played a game tomorrow, I think they'd be fine. I do. But it's a long season. Football's a physical game. If you don't have depth, you're going to be put in a tough spot at some point in time. And so trying to add some depth and some talent to that room, I do think is necessary right now.
I would say, I don't know about
Spencer said as much
tomorrow, because some of those guys that missed Springville, I don't know if they to play the game. By the season,
I get it.
Yes, I know what you mean. First game of the season. What do you make of this? BSU Bill says, to be fair, what good wide receiver would want to come here on the surface? Chicken and the egg. Potter needs to prove this year the passing game can thrive and wide receivers can eat a little bit. And then Quintana Show saying, come on, man, if a top wide receiver, BSU is not going to be on my list because I don't think Maddox is going to feed me the ball like I need to shine. Just the truth. A run-heavy team last year. Obviously, Jeanty did what he did. Do you think that would scare people away from wanting to be a part of the wide receiver room this year?
You scared of almost 60 catches for over 900 yards, because this is what Cam Camper did in this offense.
Matt Lauder, pretty good season as well. 47 catches, I believe. I mean, there's plenty of guys that can put up passing numbers in the passing game. I know he's not in, but I mean,
I'm just not buying that. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. I'm not. And I think that while I do believe that Boise State will, throw the rock a little bit more this year and be a little more open and maybe even have a little more fun offensively, I also strongly believe with their stable of running backs, I don't know. I don't think you're going to see like this drastically different mentality or attack or approach on offense next year. Like, they're still going to run the football. Like, that's what they're going to do. Sire Gaines, Malik Sherrod, Breezy Dubar, Dylan Riley. I mean, they're deep and they believe in all those guys. So I really I mean, he says BSU's offense the last few years is not appealing for a wide receiver. Let's not act like this is Air Force here. Yeah, worked out for Eric McAllister. I'm not seeing that, guys. Like, I'm not. I disagree.
Boise saying, I don't think it'll be run heavy. We should scare him away. Danielson has said it'll be 50-50 this year. That's all a receiver needs to hear.
Yeah.
We've been
I'd be surprised if it's 50-50, by the way, but I would honestly be surprised if it's 50-50. But I still think what he's trying to say is that, they're gonna open it up and be a little more balanced this year than, giving Ashton so much work. But I still think
BSU Bill's calling you ignorant here, Jay. Come on.
Ooh.
We've been a run-first operation for years. Guys are going to look at that saying it doesn't factor into why we aren't getting recruits as ignorant. We haven't had the wide receiver room as a whole go off.
Yeah, but you're also okay. So you also haven't had tight ends like Matt Lauder. I mean, Matt Lauder's stealing a lot of catches and a lot of yards from traditional wide receivers right now.
And 2 years ago, Jeanty had 40-something catches himself?
He had 43 catches for 569 yards 2 years ago. They really utilized the screen game. Bush Hamden really liked the screen game. Yes, correct.
Dune says, why would Lauder stay if he thought it was going to be so run heavy?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but we
haven't landed all these wide receivers we've been recruiting. Do you think that's just a coincidence? Yeah, probably so.
I think that other things go into it too. I mean, the D2 kid from Oklahoma is going to Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State probably has more NIL money. I mean, I can't pretend I know why he made that decision, but there are just other factors in football beyond stats and opportunities these days. I mean, NIL components definitely creep into this thing, but I mean, in 2023, Eric McAllister had 873 yards through 9 games. If you want to argue the year prior to that in 2022, all right, we can bring up that year because, nobody really popped as a wide receiver. But I think you're looking at Stephon Cobbs, he just kind of never really clicked, and he had some injuries. Latrell Caples put it together that year as a sophomore, 51 catches for 549 yards. That led the team.
In 2022.
Rotating carousel, So you go back to 2021, then all of a sudden you run into the Khalil Shakir era, over 1,000 yards in 21. Had 719 in the COVID season in 7 games. I mean, for the most part, Boise State always has a dominant wide receiver. I think opportunity's there. You go back to 19, Shaq had almost 900 yards. John Hightower, fell a little short of 1,000. Like if you could picture yourself as a number 1 wide receiver, there's opportunity for you at Boise State to go have an 800-900 yard season. I mean, no doubt. Like that's not the reason you're passing on guys, in my opinion. Sorry.
He says in the recruiting class, don't we have like 3 or 4 wide receivers coming in? Seems like some wide receivers are interested.
They do believe in the wider. Yeah, they do believe in their young wide receivers, and that's why they want to attack the portal, get an older guy to you really have to try to balance out your classes and stuff like that too. I mean, look at running back right now. They add Malik Sherrod, so they get a senior, right? They got Breezy Dubar. He's a junior. Then you have Dylan Riley, who's a sophomore. Sire Gaines is a redshirt freshman. I mean, they have talent there, but it is all balanced out class-wise. I mean, truly, like one of each. I didn't even realize it was that even until I just said it out loud, to be honest with you. So, I mean, they have talent there. They need to go get some experience in the portal like they did last year with Cam Camper. And just a reminder, and I know you know this, BJ, the portal's closed from entering it. It is not closed from exiting it. And so it's not like there's this tight deadline to figure it out. Yeah, I'm sure there's a sense of urgency here to add somebody, but there's no deadline that they have to meet outside of, kicking off at South Florida. Probably fall camp. I get that, but it's not like there's that hard deadline you have to meet when the portal closes, because that thing's open, so they can still kind of sift through that thing, see who fits culture, see who fits athletically, who they want in their offense, and then try to go get it.
Okay, we'll keep the discussion going here momentarily, but first, Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordboise.com, and we're talking NIL, we're talking, keeping guys. How about Cage Casey, Roger Carry-On, some of these guys that have NIL deals, Latrell Caples, with Matt Lauder, with Lithia Ford of Boise, Lithia Ford Boise, lithiafordboise.com. You can view their full inventory of vehicles, and you can win that free car with the hole-in-one at the BNN golf tournament, which we're going to discuss here momentarily. Hey, Bauscher Real Estate, Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Bauscher Real Estate. You get to meet everybody in the picture when you buy or sell a home from Matt. Tremendous customer service every step of the way. Appreciate Matt and his team for helping us with our purchase and sale of our home. You can do the same for you, BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. Locations all across the state of Idaho, surrounding states. That McCall location is going to start getting super busy as folks head up there. And you can download that Skip app. Good savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. You want that friendly hometown grocery store feel? Head down to CUNA. and all the various locations in the Treasure Valley Fort Ridley's family markets. Hey, you looking for a job? Transportation Compliance Service can help you get into the trucking industry. That's right. All the paperwork, DOT, overweight, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Let the professionals handle it. Maybe you've never thought about a career in the trucking industry, but it's booming right now, and you can get more information. Get signed up. They're a local company helping folks all over the world at transcompservice.com. Was talking to Dave from Lean Feast yesterday. leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out. 10,000 plus combinations, healthy eating options, and more than that, it's just the convenience of it. 2 minutes, you pop it in the microwave and you're eating steak, shrimp, chicken, fish. Just so easy, so awesome. It's fresh, not frozen. It's good 5 days in your refrigerator, and they deliver. So there's no excuse to not eat healthy. They feed the football team, the basketball team. They can feed you as well. Lean Feast Meridian, leanfeastmeridian.com. And if you want to, disagree, you're sending the messages to us disagreeing with our thoughts. How about do it in audio form? Speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail. Give us your thoughts on any topic we discussed today, yesterday, anything moving forward. And we'll play it on an upcoming show. Speakpipe.com/BNN. It's brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, or repair, an estimate, and inspection, online at mysignatureroofing.com. Jay, 4 weeks from right now, you will have just piped one down the fairway on at Timberstone Golf Course, the Bronco Nation News 4th annual golf tournament. 4 weeks from today, the tournament is sold out, but we have moved the happy hour event to the brewery at Western Collective there in Garden City. They've got that beautiful outdoor kind of beer garden patio, which means we can take folks from the general public that want to come to our Q&A this year. It's $35, and that gets your Horseshoe Golden Ale beer. It gets you your Orange Chaos Seltzer. I believe they're throwing in some Peak Juice as well, but you get some free beverages. You get to hang out with folks like Jay and Johnny and Prater. Maybe I shouldn't advertise Johnny and Prater, but Jay will be there. And Jay, assuming you don't work out the day before the event, we're actually going to make sure your card at Axiom does not work that week. You have agreed to help with the Q&A on stage, and I did talk to Dirk Cutter, and he has confirmed that he's going to go up there with you as one of our Q&A hosts for 15-20 minutes. So you can start your questions for Dirk Cutter. Dirk did request, I don't know if it says more about you or more about Johnny and Prater, but that he would come to the event if he didn't have to get within 10 feet of them. So Dirk Cutter. Always, I think Dirk Cutter, everyone loved the press conferences and stuff. I think at times he was a little I don't know. He was great with the media. He told you the honest truth. And I think in a Q&A setting with a beer in his hand, I think you could get some good stories out of Dirk Cutter.
Yeah, he's probably the most honest soundbite we've ever had. Although I don't know, man. Spencer Danison's also pushing for that title. He's pretty open and honest too at these things. He doesn't hide much or try to sugarcoat much. So I look forward to that. Dirk's awesome, and if there is any opportunity we get Dirk unplugged, that's even more awesome. So we'll see. You'll have to toss an Orange Chaos Seltzer at him probably early in that thing, but I'm going to guess he also is pretty stoked to run towards a golf course at this point in time as well.
Yes, so the Q&A will be the night before, so that's 4 weeks from yesterday. It'll be at 6 p.m. at the Western Collective Brewery. We are raising money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. Jay, the money that we raised from our happy hour and golf tournament last year was actually used as part of the Idaho Potato Bowl when the players provided sneakers to youth in the Treasure Valley that were unable to afford sneakers or cleats for their teams. And so that's what the money went to last year, and I believe it'll be the same this year, that Bronco Nation News will be essentially helping fund the sneakers for the Potato Bowl sneaker event, thanks to the donations and things that come in from this event. So hopefully you can make it. If you don't golf or you're disappointed because the golf sold out already, that's fine. You can come the night before. It's May 29th, 6 o'clock at, as I said, the Western Collective Brewery there. You just got to email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. That's just rains@bronconationnews.com. Email me. We can set you up with Venmo or whatever. You can get it in. It's $35. And again, that includes your drinks. It includes the Q&A, getting to mingle with some folks. And I can also say, Jay, that as part of our partnership with Lithia Ford of Boise and their partnership, the NIL guys from Lithia Ford, Cage Casey, Roger Carrion, Latrell Caples, and Matt Lauder will be in attendance at the happy hour, hanging out, talking to fans, signing autographs. They'll have a little table in the back, and I think we're maybe going to get a couple of them up there for a quick question or two as part of the Q&A also. So we're going to have current players, current coaches, former coaches, A lot of the basketball coaches are going to be there as well. I'm hoping in the next day or two to officially pin down Leon, but he participated last year. We're hoping for Spencer as well, but it is a official visit weekend for them that they've scheduled in case they get any. So that's part of the reason that we've got Dirk Cutter as a backup on the football side locked in. But if Spencer's able to make it, he's going to get up there as well. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. If you did miss it, Jay, which you did, unfortunately, here's what you missed at last year's happy hour event. So there you go. That is last year's event. And again, I mean, last year, Jay, we had, Leon Rice, Spencer Danielson, both up on stage. I mean, for the 75 people or so that were there, it was an intimate gathering, and we had a smaller space last year, so we couldn't really have much bigger crowd. And it was really, really cool stuff. And this year, that's why we're moving it to Garden City, the Western Collective Brewery. We can take way more people. We want to pack this place. And if you're a Boise State fan or just a fan of having Horseshoe Golden Ale and hanging out with some friends, would love to have you. But there's going to be like an hour kind of happy hour mingling, just kind of talking to people. And then we'll have, a 45-minute Q&A or so, and get some of the players and coaches up there on stage to take your questions. And going to be a lot of fun. And Jay's going to be involved. And I know I joke about it, Jay. I don't remember if people remember it or not, but I think it was literally a day or two before the golf tournament was when you had the unfortunate bicep injury last year.
Yeah, it sucked. I really look forward to your golf tournament. It's only been a few years. I feel like it's been longer than that, but I always look forward to it. And yeah, right before it happened. And I remember calling you, and I know we've told this story before, but I remember calling you, and I'm like, he's going to think I'm joking with him. Like, he's going to think I'm joking with him. And I'm like, no, bud, I'm going in for surgery tomorrow to get my bicep fixed. So yeah, that's
have you swung a golf club since the bicep injury?
I went out in the front yard when the kids were playing outside the other day and just kind of, freely.
I thought you got around in on your vacation or something.
Wait, I did. No, I did. Actually, yeah, I take that back. You're right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Then. You got your one round in 2 months ago. The only problem is you were kind of solidified as the Atkinson's Mirror and Glass, celebrity participant. But last year in your absence, they got Mike Burns. And unfortunately, we're going to have to figure out here. Dan Atkinson, Chris Atkinson, Atkinson's Mirror and Glass. We love them, but I don't know what's going to happen this year with there was some talk of raising more money for charity and actually auctioning off the chance to play with Jay Tust or Mike Burns. And wouldn't that, some of these celebrities and wouldn't that have been something, Jay, if you earned more money than like one of the coaches or something that somebody would want to play with? But
that wouldn't happen.
There was fear that literally nobody would bid on Mike Prater, and I didn't want to do that to him. So, kidding aside, but no,
Prater probably get more than any of us.
But we got to talk to the Atkinsons here. I don't know if you have a suggestion or what, but I know our buddy Tyler Mays from Circa is coming up. I've kind of put him in a group in the past with just some leftover coaches and stuff. Maybe we find a spot for Jay Tust in that group. I don't know, but we'll find a spot for you.
Yeah, I would take offense to the Atkinsons' decision to go with Burns, but knowing Burns, spending 4.5 hours with him on a golf course and the amount of stories he has, I mean, that's worth the price of admission. I can't be upset at that. Just find a way to always make sure that the Atkinson family is in the fairway to the right of me. If you could do that, make sure they're just the fairway. They're constantly in that fairway just to the right of me.
So your aim is your target practice is on point there.
Well, no, I mean, I'm aiming for my fairway, but it just always goes to that one on the right. So,
looking forward to it. It's believe it or not, 4 weeks from today is the golf tournament, and It's going to be a fun time. Looking forward to it. We'll be telling you more about it, but we are starting to push this happy hour event because I want to just pack this place. We have plenty of space. No, last year I was really worried about it getting too crowded, and so we didn't really talk about it much. And I kind of like the last couple of days opened it up for a few people, but everyone in the golf tournament's welcome to come for free. It's part of your admission price this year. And then everyone else that would like to come, if you just want to hang out, have a couple cold ones. Johnny said yesterday he's not waiving the fee for autographs, but I believe Jay might bring the glossies with them and pass those out. But if your chance, all kidding aside, whether it's Kent Riddle or Brad Bedell or Jay or Johnny or Prater or Dirk Cutter or the basketball coaches, David Moats or Burns, Duryea, and all these guys, I think Alexis Williams, like, come hang out, have some beverages, have a good time, raise some money for charity, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys will reach out to me, rains@bronconationnews.com if you'd like to participate. Jay, as we wrap this up, I mean, we had the draft to kind of get us through this week, but we're going to wake up on Monday and it's going to kind of start to be the full quote unquote off season here. We'll have transfer portal news still coming in. We'll get the TV schedule here. We'll have the Pac-12, stuff. What's kind of, I think I might've even asked you this question last week, but just what is kind of on your, the next 2 months here? What's kind of on your radar in terms of topics that'll help us get through the summer?
Well, in the short term, beach volleyball's in action today. Yeah, men's and women's tennis.
Yep.
So it's kind of a busy day, and then obviously softball too. So the women's tennis team is underway. They're at Baylor. The men go a little bit later on to this afternoon. They are in Cal, taking on Cal. And then the beach volleyball team will be in action in a little bit. And then to wrap it all up at 6:00 tonight, Boise State softball team, they won their series opener with Utah State yesterday. Got some really good pitching from Olivia Bauer. Leah McAnally hit a 3-run jack in, I believe, the 5th inning that put that game out of reach, and they won 7-1. The Broncos are playing for basically seeding purposes at the Mountain West Tournament Championships next week. If they were to sweep Utah State, get a little help from San Diego State, the Broncos could climb up to the 4 seed. And if you get to the 4 versus falling to the 6, you avoid Fresno State, which you probably would rather do. So, they're playing for a little bit this weekend. And I'll say in the short term that, and then not that you care, but high school state stuff is at the end of May here.
But it's 6:00 tonight. Game 6. You know where I'll be. I'll be at Naismith's.
You set me up just so you could do that.
I'll be at Naismith's hitting lesson until 6:30. That was bad timing on my part. So, we got some playoff hockey this week, and hopefully Sunday night there's a game 7 that I'll be having to put Sunday Sports Extra on tape this week and being a little busy. But good beach volleyball, by the way. I mean, they're on ESPN2 this afternoon.
Yeah, pretty cool.
You talk about why does Boise State have a beach volleyball team? Like that in itself, getting on ESPN2 this afternoon in terms of the marketing and all that is pretty cool. I know they're all the way over in the East Coast and went over a couple of days early, and I've seen some pictures and video and stuff. That's pretty cool for them. Alexander's saying go Denver Nuggets tomorrow in Game 7. So a lot of sports going on. Lakers are done, right? They lost. Lakers
they're done.
Okay.
Yeah, they're out.
I'm not a big NBA guy, but I think I saw that. Kraken are not in it this year?
No, not even close.
Okay. Mariners, are they playing better?
Mariners are playing better. I'm clinging to them right now, man. We're playing some good ball, but yeah, it's getting a busy little Friday. Good stuff.
Yeah, appreciate it, Jay. Have a good weekend. We'll be watching this weekend all the coverage on KTVB, ktvb.com of all the various sports going on, and then they'll wrap it up Sunday night on Sunday Sports Extra. We appreciate you, Jay. We appreciate all of our sponsors, all of our subscribers. Again, go register. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com for the happy hour. That's May 29th at Western Collective, and Mike Prater and I will be back Monday, 9 a.m., Bronco Nation News Live, Bronco Nation News. Hold on, I got to get the video clip ready. .com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.